Hey guys, what's up? Chief Pat here, and today bringing you guys a brand new Clash Royale video, and today we're going to be checking out what I think is the very best Golem deck inside of Clash Royale, and one that I've been having a crazy amount of success with recently. Now this deck is the deck I played at the King's Cup, so if you guys watched the live tournament, hundreds of players duked it out, and then the 8 final players met up with 8 YouTubers, and I actually ended up making 3rd/4th place in the semifinals using this deck, and it's a really fun deck. It works well against a bunch of different types of decks, so personally I think it's an amazing Golem deck, and it's probably the best Golem deck out there. However, in certain situations, obviously some decks are better, but overall if you're just spamming one deck over and over again, I found this deck that I've had the most success with. I've won like 4 straight 12 grand win challenges with it, so it's really fun. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to play it, and let's check it out. Not only is it a really good deck, it only has one legendary card inside of it, which is the miner, and of course if you want to swap out the miner you can use something else if you really want to, but let's go ahead and start out this battle where things are actually really awkward in the beginning. Now for this deck, what you want to do is play the tombstone first and then follow up with the golem after. That's generally how you want to play the order of your cards, and I didn't have the golem, so I had to play some sort of weird baby dragon, and then I had used my lightning spell against the bowler as well as the musketeer. So we're going to take a little bit of damage down this right hand lane. I'm going to throw my golem down right now, and all in all we only lost a little bit of damage on that right hand tower to finally get the start that we needed. Now this is where we start building up our push, and you have a couple of options of how you want to push with this deck. You can use the tombstone as backup and slowly make skeletons roll down the lane to help out your golem. You can use something like your mega minion, you can use your archers. It all depends on who you're facing. And I'm actually going to use my tombstone and my mega minion. Now the musketeer is going to be super annoying, so I want to deal with her as well. However, the bowler's just being a little bit obnoxious, bowling him away, but eventually we did end up killing the musketeer. I'm going to zap down the mega minion, but all in all this push was a little bit of a failure because his bowler was just doing so much work, and he has the tombstone, which is just such a great card against the golem. If you don't deal with the tombstone can give you so much trouble, and the fact that I didn't have the log inside of this deck made it so I couldn't deal with the tombstone effectively. Now right here I'm going to use my own tombstone to make sure his giant's distracted. The mega minion will bowl down that bowler right there, and with a minute left in the battle we haven't been able to break through just yet, but what's really cool about this deck is that it's really great at just demolishing a tower all in one push. Even if you don't have success in the first push, the second push, the third push, as long as you keep going, eventually you could get a push that takes all 3,000 damage off of the tower, or whatever level tower that you're facing. And let's go ahead and start that off right now. So Golem's down, and now that we're in double elixir, things get a little bit better. We've got the Golem. I'm going to bring another tombstone. He's got a mega minion right there, so we can use our own to take that out fairly easily. And then now we're starting to have a little more success. Let's go ahead and drop our lightning spell to kill the tombstone, as well as hit the bowler. And now that we've got a couple of support troops down, he's going to play a giant right in front of them, and that's sort of going to stop us in our tracks. I had the miner set up to tank for the rest of my stuff as soon as the golem died, but this has really just turned into a stalemate. He's actually playing a deck that's pretty good against mine, and it's working out pretty well as far as defense goes. I'm going to zap down everything he has right there just to get a little bit of value, as well as kill this musketeer with my archers. But all in all, we're just going to keep resetting over and over again, and eventually we're going to find out a winner. I did get about maybe 600 damage on that last push, so if I can replicate that on this one, or maybe he'll get greedy and make a mistake, things will be better. And instead of doing the same, I'm actually just going to drop my miner and kill his tombstone right there. His tombstone's been giving me a ton of problems, so adapting on the fly, I'm going to kill the miner. I've got the lightning spell, unfortunately just missing out on the musketeer. It's going to hit the bowler and the mega minion instead, and then as soon as my golem pops, which it's going to in just a second, we should be able to kill all of his support units right here. But again, this match is a complete stalemate right now. I'll use my miner to see if I can get some of my support troops heading towards his crown tower, but as my lightning spell pops, we're going to kill the mega minion, but unfortunately my mega minion isn't going to be able to reach his tower for a single swing. So at this point, he's at 832. If I can just hold on and maybe get a couple of lightning bolts onto that right-hand tower, we might be able to win, maybe like the lightning plus the miner. Meanwhile, I've got the mega minion, the skeletons cleaning up his giant right here. We are slowly winning this battle, and to be honest, using this deck, it almost never goes this long. This is probably maybe the second longest battle I've ever had using this deck. Take a look as the tower's all the way down to 230, and at this point it's just become a lightning battle and how fast I can cycle to that card. So playing relatively cheap cards, I'm going to use my Tombstone, I'm going to use my Baby Dragon, my Mega Minion, Archer, Zap Spell, whatever. I'm just trying to get to that lightning spell as soon as possible. In fact, I'm going to use my Miner and see if he's going to have to deal with that as well. And since the Miner's taking that tower fairly low, I actually could have just zapped it down, but I'll use the lightning spell to clean it up and give me a 1 crown to 0 victory. So one of the stranger games I've ever played with this deck. Usually the games go by so much faster and you just have like one big push that dominates their tower, but that one ended up lasting 4 minutes and 40 seconds for easily one of the longest matches I've played inside of a challenge. Now continuing onward, we're going to play Trainer Eid, who is spamming WoW over and over again, so I'm assuming that maybe he knows who I am. So let's go ahead and start with the Tombstone in the very center, throw a good luck back out there, and again, we don't have our favorite starting hand with this deck. We don't have our Golem, and he does have the Golem for his starting hand, and that's really bad. When you're playing a Golem mirror matchup, you can see him throwing out the angry face. You always want to make sure that you play your Golem in the very beginning, or else things can get pretty hairy, so instead, I'm going to go for a counter push with my Miner, my Mega Minion, and my Baby Dragon, but as you can see, it's not even working that great at all. My Mega Minion's going to get stuck on the Tombstone. Meanwhile, his Golem is nearly full HP on this left-hand side. His Baby Dragon is probably going to come over and smack those archers. I do have to kill his push on the right, and now he's going to get some free hits off on my tower. Honestly, it could have been worse. I think he's holding on to Elixir right now, because if he had destroyed maybe my Mega Minion or put one more support unit on the left-hand side, we would have been in way more trouble and probably lost our tower. But still, even with such a terrible starting hand, things really aren't that bad at all. We're only down 500 HP and maybe 3 Elixir, I'm guessing, 2 or 3 Elixir. And now that we're saving up towards 10, let's get ready to play our Golem and to start a push of our own. Alright, so Golem's going to go down towards the back, and he's actually going to play his right in front of his King Tower, which is an interesting placement. Can't say I've seen too many of those before, and now that means I'm going to counter with my Tombstone. Make sure you don't play your Tombstone right away. You want to play it as late as possible to get as much value as possible. So there goes my Tombstone, and let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to defend against my Golem? Is he going to go on a counter attack? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play my archers so they're still in the right hand lane. As soon as they're done killing this Golem, they'll help out my Golem on the other side. And now I've got my Baby Dragon doing work. I've got the lightning spell in my hand, but the Golem still should get a significant amount of damage off on the tower, especially when it explodes. And for some reason, his Mega Minion's still alive. I guess his Mega Minion ran away from my Baby Dragon, and she redirected, but his tower's down to 1,000 HP now, and that means one more push should be able to finish this game off. Alright, so Mega Minion goes down. He's going to play a Golem right in my face, so I'm going to have to play my Tombstone to drag it over. I'm hoping this brings my Mega Minion back over to his Golem, but I'm really not that confident. But there it goes. The Mega Minion actually does end up coming back home and helping me out right there. And his Mega Minion's going to be so low, I'm going to have to end up zapping it down. And at this point, I'm really all in on defense. That was actually a pretty nice play by him to get that Golem down right away. But now I'm going for a counter attack with a Miner that's going to go down right behind his tower before, of course, the Mega Minion eventually ends up taking it out. Now, Lightning Spell will kill the Mega Minion right there, as well as it gives my Golemite, my Archer, just a little bit of time to get an extra 300 damage off on that right-hand tower, and with that extra damage, that's all we need for a Lightning Spell. And notice how I don't care about the Baby Dragon. I know that tower's not going to be the one that decides the game. I know he has to go for my left-hand tower, so I'm just going to defend my left-hand side, stack everything up over there, and then as soon as the Lightning Spell comes around, let's go ahead and drop that and to finish off the game. So 2 games back-to-back going into overtime using this deck. I swear it's usually not this hard, but I've been playing against some pretty good players in these last 2 battles. 1 crown to 0, and yeah, we haven't had that big overwhelming push that we do get sometimes with this deck. But let's see again the next battle where we don't have the Golem again. 3 straight battles. 3 straight Golems not being in our starting hand or even close, and our Golem is forever away. Our Golem is actually the 7th card in our spell rotation, so we're going to have to go ahead and Miner down that Princess, and take a look at the Musketeer back there. For a second, I thought my Miner was actually going to attack the King Tower, but looks like that's not going to happen. Archers are going to shoot on the tower, and a Musketeer will eventually make her way down the lane. Now, instead of dropping anything crazy like a Golem, I do have to defend against this push, so I'm going to drop my Baby Dragon here, and notice ooh, look at that tornado right there. there. Right when they crosses the line and I can play the Mega Minion, I'll use that to assassinate the Musketeer right there, Skeleton's Baby Dragon, and my Mega Minion will kill the Giant. And let's go for a counter push with the Miner, and that's going to be able to start doing some work on the tower. I've got the Zap spell, which will help will help my Mega Minion survive. And take a look at my Mega Minion. It's going to get 2, almost 3 shots against the tower. That tower is going to go all the way down in one of those 100-0 pushes I was telling you guys about, except strangely, we didn't use the Golem inside of this push. It was just using a counterattack. So besides the Golem push, which I've already showed you guys is one of the main staples in this deck, the other way to get significant damage on your opponent's tower is by playing defense, getting your Mega Minion down, getting your archers down, getting your Baby Dragon down, and then going for a counterattack with your Miner. So you make sure your Miner tanks the tower, let your other troops go in, just like I did with that push right there. And it ends up doing a pretty decent amount of damage. And after my opponent wasted those arrows right there on the right hand side, I'm just going to use my archers to assassinate that princess. And yeah, things are looking really good for us right now. We should have an elixir lead, but it might be a little bit hard to crack this left hand side of the base due to that fat Inferno tower that's right in our faces. So still, Golem will explode and do... Wait, what? He's going to use the tornado? That was actually an interesting use of the tornado to try to keep my Golem from exploding on the Inferno Dragon or tower, but it's not going to work out too well. We're going to start burning that tower down. I've got a Mega Minion heading towards it, which he will have to use a Valkyrie to take out. I'm going to just use my lightning spell on the tower just because I wanted to get rid of that princess, and almost getting another hit off on that tower. Unfortunately, not going to be able to happen, but that tower is already down to 1166 HP, and it seems like this guy only has one push to try to win the game. He's got the Musketeer, he's got the Giant, and he's got the Log, and that's pretty much all he uses on offense. Actually, a really cool tornado spell right here. Take a look at his princess. It did a crazy amount of damage in the center of that tornado because it brought all the troops together, but too little too late. In fact, he's only done 100 damage on my left-hand tower throughout the entire battle. So this one was a bit of a steamroll, and it shows you just how powerful this deck is when you play it correctly. So 2 crazy overtime battles, 1 smooth victory to wrap up the day. Is he going to get any more damage on the tower? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to. And that's going to be the end of another 1 crown to 0 victory using this deck. In fact, this deck actually works pretty well for 3 crowns. We didn't get any today, but if you get a really big push going or a really big counter push, you can end the game in like 1 or 2 pushes. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this deck. Again, guys, it's a Golem Lightning variation that uses the Baby Dragon and Archer as archers, as well as the Mega Minion as support troops. Then you have the Miner for the counter attack. You've got the Zap spell as your like really defensive spell, I guess, even though you can use the Lightning spell as well. And all in all, it works out pretty well, and I definitely recommend you guys try it out. If you don't have the Miner, you can always use something else, substitute something in there, whatever card that you like playing. Honestly, the Miner is sort of irreplaceable as far as the role it serves in this deck. So try something out, let me know what you guys think, and yeah, that is going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.